Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now January 5th of 2024, and given that there's been an ongoing struggle between Ryan Reynolds and the rest of the creatives behind Deadpool 3 against the higher-ups over at Disney over many creative differences and Disney's push for DEI, which is only wreaking havoc for the third act of the film, it also created this ripple effect for many of the projects from Marvel's Phase 7, and exactly how Ryan Reynolds has been reacting to the ongoing drama. This is IGER. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at IGER1. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So we know that 2023 really ended on a bad note when it comes to Marvel Studios, which by the way is run by Disney, and the Marvel's box office disaster was definitely one of the worst failures of all time when it comes to the entire MCU. In fact, it did in fact have the worst MCU opening of all time, and that's not a good look, especially for director Nia DaCosta. It's exactly why they canned her from multiple projects in the MCU roadmap for Phase 6 and beyond. Now, what's interesting about all of this has a lot to do with what Ryan Reynolds recently did against Disney as a result of the ongoing Deadpool 3 drama happening between himself and those over at Disney, really pushing all of these agendas, right? We know that Bob Iger is a liar. He has said multiple times that he does not value ideology over art, which, by the way, it is actually completely flipped over. He actually does value ideology over art. That's exactly what he's doing with many of the projects related to Star Wars, Marvel, and more. However, this is where things get interesting, because with all the Deadpool 3 drama only getting worse for both Ryan Reynolds and the Disney higher-ups, one major development has to do with new truths, how Ryan Reynolds recently cost Disney billions of dollars with the future of the Marvel Universe. As it turns out, after many arguments that Ryan had with the heads over at Disney, including Bob Iger, one crucial update to this ongoing situation is that Ryan recently turned down multiple projects that Disney knew they absolutely needed him to make those projects work, as Deadpool, aka Wade Wilson, was planned to be a central side character for many upcoming mutant-era projects from Marvel's Phase 7. Now, Ryan Reynolds reportedly already walked away from 5 projects in total that are currently untitled projects, however, are centered to expand the mutant-era timeline. Many of these consisted of TV shows, and 2 of which were considered major film releases for the years to come. Disney analysts projected that all of these projects together would have certainly garnered billions of dollars worldwide at the box office and for the ratings through Disney+, with Disney now pulling the plug on these premature projects that were going to include Deadpool in various ways, with the return of Hugh Jackman as well as Wolverine, again in multiple cameos. Both Iger and Feige, Kevin Feige, are already completely restructuring the MCU for Phase 7 with a brand new approach, since Ryan is now only attached to a handful of upcoming films and TV shows. As it turns out, many of these projects were planned to expand the classic X-Men characters that many fans grew up with. However, Disney wanted to push their DEI agenda into these films and TV shows. This is when Ryan had many arguments about its direction for Phase 7 and what lies beyond, and decided to walk away from them entirely. Another project that Ryan abandoned was going to be a project that would also focus on a beloved X-Men side character, with Wade Wilson becoming a secondary character somehow. Now, rumblings report that this was going to be focused on Gambit. However, creative differences actually rised out of those projects as well, both due to Bob Iger's obsession with focusing on DEI and story differences that Ryan didn't agree with. As of now, Disney is desperately rethinking their strategy on how to handle and expand the mutant-era timeline of the MCU in order to save Marvel Studios, as in turn, Bob Iger prepares to fire a number of employees to make Marvel Studios a smaller-scale studio in order to reduce spending. So guys, let me just stop here quick before I get to the big conclusion about this. Now, we talked about how Disney will be entering its third phase of the cost containment plan by the second quarter of this year. Alright, so that basically is going to consist of thousands of firings across the board. We're talking about all of their business models, all of their divisions over at Disney, not just limited to Marvel Studios. We're talking about all together here. And on top of that, a Disney purge. Basically the removal of tons of content on Disney Plus while raising rates for both their non-ad and ad plans, which really doesn't sound like a deal at all, right? Who would sign up for Disney Plus if they're removing content and raising rates? It makes absolutely no sense to me, and that's exactly why it's living proof that Bob Iger is a lunatic and has no idea what he's doing over at Disney as CEO. So again, I mean, this is another prime example that Ryan Reynolds is purely fed up with Disney's direction of the MCU, especially for Phase 7, which was going to massively expand the X-Men era, or the mutant era, so to speak, both on film and for television shows on Disney Plus. They really wanted to make it like a really big deal when it comes to the Marvel Universe, even bigger than what we have received in past phases with different eras, so to speak, of the Marvel Universe. So what's interesting about this further, this is where things begin to get a little bit more intense, is that in light of this, Ryan is still working on Deadpool 3, an X-Men spin-off film, and one MCU Phase 7 TV show altogether, which is now only a handful. Some of the projects he was removed from by Disney, others of which he walked away from, as we talked about here, from the most important ones for Disney and what Bob Iger planned to do by releasing them for the later portion of the decade. So basically what happened is that Disney's overall plan to expand the mutant era and really kind of shoehorning Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, in there for, you know, obvious value and to increase box office tickets, ticket sales, etc., subscribers on Disney Plus. They really wanted to make Deadpool make a lot of cameos and a lot of glorified appearances in many of these projects consistently. And I don't want to say that that would have been overuse, an overuse of the character, but if you play it right, it can be done. But I feel with Deadpool, it's best to kind of play things, by ear with that character. Just take your time with the character, only use him as needed, don't shoehorn him into practically every single Marvel-related project in Phase 7. That's just how I see things, and it's why the character can stay valued if you just use the character wisely. So what's interesting about this further is that Bob Iger, once again, you can tell that he gets frightened by these things. The fact that Ryan walked away and wanted nothing to do with these projects anymore led to multiple cancellations of MCU Phase 7 projects, because they knew not only did they need Ryan as a co-writer to make the humor work for Deadpool, but they needed him as an actor to make the actual character work. And that just was not working for them when it comes to Phase 7. So now you have not only the Kang Dynasty getting completely rewritten due to the firing of Jonathan Majors, but you're also getting a lot of projects for Phase 7 getting completely reorganized because of Ryan Reynolds exiting many projects, as per the Deadpool 3 drama and all the trouble that Disney's been causing. So anyway, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.